Oh dear, complete new world, strange world entirely. Although it was well lit, electric light at the pit bottom. But once we turn our backs of the pit bottom, I'm going into narrow places now, down into the darkness, and then the experience comes so horrible and terrible. I was frightened now. I didn't know where I was going.
You're going to a place in the earth where the hard rock heaves and boils.
It boils out as you open the road, so the road closes in again.
You're going to the coalface where the Big Hewer sweats and toils.
You can't visualize this seam like a mat stretching beneath the earth, a layer of a cake, till you can see it in all the tunnels following you all over the pit. There's the seam, it's always there.
There, where the earth bears down on the 4-foot spars.
Wonder how long it took all this earth, this 1,000 and odd feet, to get on top of that coal. Must have been a small place here.
There in the world that never saw sun or moon or stars.
The silence in the pit, it's like infinity, or the bottom of the ocean. It's peaceful. And yet, it's sometimes frightening. You could be driven to panic with it, I think. You've never known absolute blackness. Always there's stars at night and there's always a moon. But there's nothing. And you can feel this pressing on you, the darkness. You can feel this darkness.
The world where a man is always a stranger, where the miner works and lives with danger.
You see, you've got the smells, and you've got your look, and you would put your hands behind you, and you'd feel the rough surface of the stone. You see, you'd feel the dust and the props, the bark that was on the props. And you used to visualize things happening in the blackness.
Here is the place where the Big Hewer earns his pay. Go down. Here is the place he battles with night and day. Go down. Spits on his hands, cracks rocks and boulders, bears up the world on his own two shoulders, digging a hole out, getting the coal. Go down.
I was amazed at, you know, what they could do. You know, just, I didn't think anything like that could exist, you know. Because roadways, you know, we went in for about 4 miles, and I think it's a great achievement to do something like that.
I would never go back to the colliery. Although they may not be working so hard physically as they did in years ago, they're working in more danger, things are a lot faster, and what you must understand, everything is steel. If you were a post, a wooden post falling around, it wouldn't hurt you so much. You got a steel post falling around and you lost your hand. And this is the vast difference. And what people don't understand, they say modern machinery, you know. When I was working in Dilwyn, we had horses pulling most of your supplies up to where you were working. Today you've got ropes, haulage ropes, which very often managers' fault. They don't keep the ropes up to the advance of which they want the face to work. Hence, the men have to leave their jobs to carry. And we're not carrying wood 9-foot timber, no, man. We're carrying 14-foot rings. On square work, 15-foot bars, which take 3 or 4 men to carry. And this alone is strenuous enough. And actually the bumps which you get only through carrying stuff. You've done away with the horse, but now the miner's doing the horse's work. You know what I mean? This is it.
So know ye now how the coal it is got, ye champion at drilling the hole. You're a dab hand at stacking, you're champion at packing the roof when you're shooting the coal.
It's the toil and the sweat wins the coal that you get when you're working away in the hole.
You know how to hew and you know how to fill, cut the scorton without any trouble. Set a good pair of gears and crawl on your ears and use both the pick and the shovel.
If a roof or a wall sack can threaten to fall, then you know how to move at the double.
And that's the sort of thing that you look for in a mine. I don't know, it's a queer sort of feeling, and it's a danger that you see there. A fear. Did you know it's going to happen?
It's your only defense, and they call it pet sense, and your life may depend on it there.
You hear a prop creak, and you, in your own mind, you can see that little part just move that quarter of an inch. You know what's going to happen. You're not working with a piece of land. You're working with the world. But down the pit, you've got to have that in you to sense hidden dangers. You know full well that she can be a nasty bitch when she likes. She can be real nasty. She's like an angry woman. She just throws her weight about. And if you're not sharp enough and get out of the way of her, she'll kill you.
When you go underground, if you hear the machinery going, you don't think of it. But once that machinery is on stop, you'll hear every bit of noise. You'll hear the timber creaking behind you, and face where the coal working with the gases. Well, see, if the machinery is going, we're filling coal. We don't look at that danger.
Jimmy, come back. Jimmy, come back.
Hold on a minute. I think the top's working.
You find that as the strain is put on everything, the top begins to trickle a bit, and you get a few nodules of slack come down on top of your head, and then a few bits a bit bigger, and then you begin to wonder how heavy the next lot's going to be, whether it'll be a 2-pound chunk or a half a ton.
Wait for the trickling slack in the faulted vein where the rock is crushed and crumbled, ground to powder.
Up and down. And she's been tinkering on a bit. Bit stone being broken. And I heard a crack. The timber just been going like pistol shots.
Watch where the floor swells up like a pestered toil when the timbers crack. And the girders buckle and twist, and the roof at your back is gathering might, a threatening fist of rock, the whole weight of the earth.
Yes. He was working next to me, and a huge stone came down and killed him.
He was killed in the pit. He was killed on a Friday morning, on a Good Friday morning, I shall always remember. A stone fell on him, and we brought him home.
By Clyde's bonny banks, where I sadly did wander, among the pit heaps as evening drew nigh.
I shall always remember. He was killed in the pit.
I spied a young woman all dressed in deep mourning, a weeping and wailing with many a sigh.
waiting and hoping on the surface, and below ground, hard work trying to reach the missing miners.
When they bring him in, I see him now. Brought him in and brought him on the stretcher on the floor there, in his pit dirt. And the men bathing him like on the floor.
Yen from the mine in his pit dirt they bring him. The neighbours they stand by the door. The fire will gan out and the bairns will gan hungry. He'll walk to the pit no more.
You don't know when they go out, whether you're going to see them again or what, do you? You just pack the snap up and off they go, and you've got to depend on God above to bring them back for you, haven't they? When you're a miner's wife.
And down from the top. And it burned me completely. Everything went dark, my lamp was knocked out. It was the ordinary hand lamp then, not the cap lamp. And I was shouting, but in those few seconds, everything come before me. It's a terrible experience. And eventually, I heard men, where are you, where are you? And they covered me head. But they couldn't get me out. The dirt had rolled, and from the waist down, I was fast. Well, I started shoveling, and it still kept rolling down. And they put an umbrella, what they call umbrella, a piece of old door, boards over me. All the time it kept bitting, dribbling down, and I thought any minute now it's going to come again. And to top it up, I got a piece of stone on my buttocks here, and I could feel blood running down my leg, you know. I said, knock me out, knock me out.
An accident, and they kept him at the hospital about 5 hours. He was late coming home. And I thought he was doing a doubling, and they brought him home in ambulance. That's when he had a crack on top of the head. That's the only time. He's had some bad accidents, but he's always come home at his ordinary time.
If he was to come home early, which he did that once, do you remember? And when I looked at him, I said to him, oh, here comes Jim, you know. He was early, and when we looked at him, he got his ribs all done up. He got a nasty gash on his back, you know, where something had fallen, coal or something had fallen and hit him. But you worry all the time they're away.